Good morning. Are you guys seeing this? I had to reconnect a couple of times. Are you guys seeing this morning? Give me a feedback there. Do you see the tea with pop sign? Tea with pops. Thanks, Sean. Okay. Okay, I had a little trouble too this morning, Penny. Took a couple minutes to connect in, and then it wanted me to reconnect. I started experiencing anxiety. Oh, I don't want to be anxious. No more anxieties. Good morning, everyone. No, I think it was me this time, Penn. Who knows? Who really knows? Good morning, everybody. I have some interesting stuff happening today. Very interesting. Before we get started, Derek Anderson had a great idea yesterday. He texted me. Let's do the wheel. Let's do the big wheel for Friday. Do you guys remember the wheel? Where we put people's names on the wheel and we do the spin on Friday and it's for a big box. I'm gonna give away spots on the wheel today. Let's do the first spot on the wheel. Give me somebody to go on the wheel right now. I just ran numbers between 1 and 50. What number's in my chute between 1 and 50 to jump on the wheel? Jump on the wheel. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Let's go. Who's going to be wheeling it? Let's get on the wheel for Friday. First person I see with the number that I see in my chute here. Okay, it's already in the chute. First person I see with the right number is going to move forward. Has to be on my screen. The lag is real. Okay. Don't complain if it's not you. Here we go. I still haven't seen it. Who's got the number correct? Let's get on the wheel. Who's going to get on the wheel first? I'm still looking for the number. Nobody has said it yet. Who's going to say the number first? Charlie Ray Merritt did. Charlie Ray Merritt said it's a 34, Pops. And sure enough, guess what, Charlie Ray Merritt? It's a 34. Can you see that? See that 34, Charlie Ray Merritt? First guy on the wheel today. It's for spots we're gonna spin for the big win on Friday and a couple of door prizes. So Charlie Ray Merritt. Good thinking on Derek Anderson's part. I like that idea. Now, you have to be here Friday to win. You have to be here Friday to win. That's part of the dealio, okay? What a way to make you guys have to come to the show on Friday. Wait, what's with this? Okay. Charlie Ray Merritt. Good morning, everybody. You know, this wasn't part of the plan this morning. This wasn't part, shine on. This wasn't part of the plan this morning. But we're flexible. If there's one thing a mycologist is, especially us, we're flexible. We learned all about flexibility at our last couple of mush fests. Am I right? Okay? Am I right? Flexibility. So here's what happened this morning. Vegas Mandy, April. Hit a couple of the likes, would you guys please? This morning, April, Vegas Mandy sent me a link, and I've spent I got a little, what a great link. Are you guys ready for this? She sent a link to a newsletter. I'm not usually Mr. Newsletter guy, subscribing to newsletters, not my type thing in general. But I thought, let me open it up and see what she sent me. Hello to Nicola in Serbia. Good morning, Nicola. Mr. Marmars, I'm sorry about that. Sincerely sorry. You guys, Mr. Marmars had a passing. She sent us. I'm sorry about that, Mr. Marmars. Can we go on? Yeah, we have to go on. I'm sorry about that, my friend. What a downer. But I don't want to be it's part of life guy, but it's part of life guy. Okay, sorry about that. Vegas sent us a link to a newsletter. I posted it on my IG, the name of the newsletter. It's called Bicycle Day. BicycleDay.com. Neat title. Can I interest just a couple of you, maybe five people? I agree with you, Mr. Marmars. This earth is a pretty wicked place that we try to make kind day by day. Bicycle Day. It's for people that are interested in psilocybin and psychedelics. May I just peruse it with you shortly for a moment? May I do that? Penny Peck, you got that from Michael Patterson? So here's what's in this week's newsletter. The first psychedelic study in teenagers. I don't think about it enough. Teenagers. We do talk about it here, and we ask that all of our viewers, that's a good one, Penny, all of our viewers be over 18. We don't want to mess around in areas that are, let's just make sure if you need to be over 18 to be here. I personally believe that you should be 18 to decide if you're going to go buy cigarettes. You should be 18 to decide if you're going to go get drafted. You should be 18 to decide if you're going to be get alcohol. You should be 18 to be able to use a cell phone. Conservative old pops. Okay? Those are the 18. Because by then, basically, if you're out of high school and you're matriculating onto a new area of your life, you might have a little more maturity than a 16-year-old. You know what the jump was? Think about it. The jump between 16 and 18 is huge. 18 to 21 is even just, come on. That's a big one. But you almost can't hold back an 18-year-old if we're gonna put them in the army. Either, if we're gonna put them out there. But I personally think that cell phones too. I think cell phones should be treated just like alcohol and tobacco. So, Microsoft is going to cut me off here shortly. They should be treated just like alcohol and tobacco. And they should be used in moderation, and they should be used, if you can use, alcohol might be nice for a toast here and there, and every once in a while a party. Cell phone, the same thing. You know how many of us addictively overuse our cell phones? So this is the first psychedelic study in teenagers. It also gives you an FDA issue warnings. Listen to this. Toxic shroom chocolates. Does anybody think that there's uh, situations out there, companies and individuals and garage businesses and cottage companies and stuff like that, that know exactly what they're doing? Do you think there's anybody out there delivering crap to us? What do you think? Do you think there's anybody out there delivering crap to us? Sandy says there's tons. I agree with you. I agree with you. Wait till you see what they're going to tell us about the shroom chocolate guy. California is also working diligently towards psychedelic therapies in their legislation. How about that? Listen, I'm going to read a couple of little things. Research. Give peace a chance. People who use this I'm reading directly from the newsletter. Give me 5 people that say, go ahead and read directly from the newsletter. 99 subscribers here, 48 likes. In my math, that says something around 50%. Okay? Let's read a couple of things. I want to just get you in a mindset. Give peace a chance. People who use psychedelics are less likely to commit acts of violence. That's true. That's not one of those myths. I'm not doing a mythobusto. That is true. Blame inflation. There's a big difference between what people consider a reasonable price for psychedelic assisted therapy and what they're actually charging. Go check out Oregon. What's a reasonable price for a psychedelic assisted therapy? 2-3 hour guided trip. $100, $200. What if they're charging $2,900? What if they're charging $2,900? So you know what's happening in Oregon? All of the facilities are failing. They've got the licenses, they put all this money into it, and they're failing. So far, there isn't one very successful model that others in the state can follow. I've been there I've visited recently, looking for when things happen, how can we do it in Michigan? They've overcharged their market, they killed themselves. People don't go. You get a couple of people, with the .com bubble people, and people aren't going to the facilities. It's costing them too much money. They're looking at it and going, I feel like I'm getting ripped off. How about this one? Psychedelics may help silence chronic pain. These chronic pain clinics. There are pain clinics. People that experience chronic different kinds of pain. What was that one? Drawing a blank. There's certain diseases that we get just create pain in us. They're finding out that certain psychedelic monitored trips can help not only alleviate it, not only manage it, but alleviate it. How about this? Remember last week we talked about the FDA looking at MDMA as moving the drug into another status so we could be using it in therapy. Fibromyalgia is a great example of a chronically painful disease that I think we're starting to see that they can use psilocybin on. You know what else is this drug? It scares me because I grew up scared by it. I grew up, my culture, my civilization that I grew up with scared the pants off of us about LSD. LSD meant if you took one little thing of LSD, it meant either all of your brain was going to fry and you'd just be like a vegetable, lobotomized, or you would try to fly. One or the other. We were literally programmed, especially, I went to a Catholic school. Oh my God, did they make an LSD guy look like they were going to fly out a window? Okay? Mark, I'm sorry to hear that. So I don't know that much about LSD. I was always, Took till I was 61 years old and I got to reevaluate what I was taught. Just like when we were taught all this other crap in history that isn't true, or it was written by men. There's a lot of crap that was written about things that are helpful to us. That's one of the problems, Enormous, you do have to look out for. And one of my major concerns, why I don't sell LSD or deal with it, because I don't know where it came from. I don't know what's actually being eyedroppered on those blotters. I don't know if it's clean and it's pure and it's good and it's correct, or if it's some bathroom concoction. I don't know. And so as a result of my not knowing, I'll stay away from that. I'm going to stay down the natural path because I know where a mushroom came from. I know exactly where that mushroom came. It came from my bag. I grew it. I'm fine with it. So it'll do what I need it to do. But I definitely stay away. Me personally, I don't want to get involved with LSDs, even though when I talk about them here, I'm talking about a laboratory grade, the same thing as Hoffman or others would be dispensing. Not what you get out of a bathtub. Not what you get out of a bathtub. So the MDMA guys, it was turned down by the FDA. They said, nah, we're not quite ready for that. No, thank you. You know what happened as a result of that? There's companies out that are investing, or there are now, you can invest in, that are psychedelic research companies. You want to put your money somewhere that maybe you think by the year 2030, 50, 60, 70% of our therapies are going to be psychedelic based. It's moving in that direction, I guarantee you. So some people with a lot of money are thinking that's probably a pretty good investment. You know who else? There's people, and this is a true story. If you know, you know. Your Zuckerbergs, and there's a couple other people we could name. Sincerely rich people that are invested in the psychedelic research. They're invested in some of these Canadian companies, one that I deal with. Major stockholders in these companies because they're looking to the future. And I don't think that they're making a bad investment. I'll tell you that. However, their research, this MDMA thing where they turned it down for now. Steve Jobs was a tripper. What happened was it drove the stock prices tumbled as a result of that MDMA not being approved at this particular time. Makes you think they're already putting big money into what we do out of goodness and kindness. Here it says it right here. Psychedelic stocks tanked after the unexpected FDA panel vote on MDMA. Some psychedelic industry players see the committee's rejection of MDA as a mere speed bump. And there's still one of the real reasons is because that MDMA company was linked with a company called Lycos. And people are looking at Lycos with a little bit of a slanted eye. How about this? How about this one? Listen to this. Say that again? What? What did you say? The Department of Defense awarded $825,000 grant to a company called Delix Therapeutics. Delix Therapeutics is developing a non-hallucinogenic version of LSD for hearing loss. A non-hallucinogenic version of LSD being developed in a laboratory. This guy, Delix Therapeutics, and the Department of Defense said, that's worth almost $1 million. Say what? I'm saying say cool. 1 year after Oregon's psilocybin services have opened, the market is extremely short on customers. How about this? Okay. Kids have it rough. Remember fumbling through high school, trying to figure out who you were and dealing with all those hormones? Do you remember that? Dealing with all those hormones. Oh, God. Yeah. Now add in social media and the pressure to look good all the time. No wonder modern teenagers have more issues than ever before. So with psychedelics showing therapeutic promise in depression, anxiety, and other mental health challenges, inquiring minds want to know, can psychedelics help angsty teens too? In a first of its kind study, researchers looked at survey data to see how psychedelics affected adolescents. They're qualifying adolescents as between 16 and 24. Over 24, 25, they're calling adults. Young people do benefit after a psychedelic experience. Adolescents had a higher self-esteem, psychological well-being, and emotional stability. Psychedelics could save lives. They also had a lower score for depression, delusional thinking, and suicidal ideation. But, so that's the good news. It's pretty good. But, researchers also noticed some watch-outs. Ego death hits different to a younger person. Ego dissolution predicted improvements in adults, but for adolescents, those experiences weren't so beneficial. Teens tripped harder. Adolescents tended to have more intense visuals, paranoias, and feelings of fear and insanity. I think Paige said it well. We're dealing with a prefrontal cortex that's not even fully developed yet. No wonder. I would say don't even put it in there until they're over 18 and well on their way to 24, 25. They were also more likely to have lingering visual quirks, like trails and halos and colors weeks later. It's stuck in the growing brain. Most weren't too bothered by that extra sparkle, though. It looks like psychedelics do help teens and young adults feel better in their skin at a particularly trying time in life. Since their tender brains are still developing, they might need a little extra support or guidance from that guide that walks them through to keep their trips from going sideways. Matter of fact, I love the way this guy ends this particular subject. Matter of fact, kids probably could use some tender, loving care regardless. I know I could have. Gosh, if my dad would have hugged me. Interesting? Was that interesting? This is all out of the newsletter. I want you guys to go take a look at this newsletter, and if you're feeling it, subscribe. It doesn't even cost you a dime. There's information out there. One of the things we always want to do is stay informed. Stay informed. Know your business. Know your craft. Know your hobby. Know your family. The newsletter, it's called Bicycle Day. Bicycle Day. Bosses, wait a minute. Hug the kids? This is a good one, Vegas. I'm going to read one more small article. I hadn't planned on doing any of this morning, but I'm glad we are. This is fascinating information. And don't read it knowing this is it. That's the final word. This is another piece of information to add to other pieces of information that you glean and garnish along the way. I don't want anybody to ever take one thing and say, that's it, especially me. You're just listening at one man's opinion who has a little experience. That's it. How about this? Near death by chocolate. Trish, you have a family now. Near death by chocolate. Microdosers, beware. Wait, where is it? No, wrong one. Sorry. Microdosers. Please beware. Scarf down the wrong mushroom chocolates, and you could end up in the emergency room. This is no joke. Take something you don't know what you're taking from the wrong people somewhere out there. Be prepared to spend an afternoon in the emergency room. Am I right? It's such a cottage industry thing. We don't know what the heck sometimes. Okay? You could wind up in the emergency room. That's the down low and the FDA warning issued this week. So far, at least 8 people across 4 states have gotten sick after eating, this is the company's name, Diamond Shrooms. And Shrooms is spelled SHRUUMZ. Diamond Shrooms. 8 people across 4 states have gotten sick from eating Shrooms microdosed chocolate bars. Shrooms microdose chocolate bars. Several of the victims had seizures and vomited, and one even had to be intubated. Man, that makes my... When the brand promised a new way to chill, we're guessing that's not what they meant. They didn't mean you to be chilling and intubated in a hospital. But wait, there's more. According to lab reports, their chocolate bars don't even have psilocybin in them. Deborah, As hard as we work at this, as hard as we work at this, and they're out there playing games like this, you're the consumer. You need to know your source. I can guarantee this from the bottom of my heart, upside down, inside out, sideways, that Sandy and Carlotta's chocolate shrooms have real fruit in them. How do I know? Because sometimes I send it to them. They grow their own, but sometimes, hey, I'll send it. They're putting the real thing in the real thing. Another example, Colorado Micro League. The real thing is going in the real thing. They don't even contain psilocybin or any psychedelics whatsoever. Yup, Diamond Shrooms has been peddling a primo proprietary blend. That's what they're calling it. This is our primo proprietary blend. Well, gosh darn, that sounds good. A primo proprietary blend of who knows what, while riding the tailwinds of the microdosing movement. Really, guys? It wasn't enough to put consumers at risk. You had to go and sully the reputation of an already stigmatized industry. That's us. Imagine if psychedelic products, micro or macro, were legalized and regulated just like any other CPG category. Then maybe the bad actors would have a hard time making empty promises and tarnishing the whole field's credibility. Until then, remember to stay vigilant. Flashy packaging plus mystery ingredients equals red flag. California says heroes' doses are for the heroes. California. Say what you will about California politicians, but you got to admire their persistence. Despite 3 failed attempts to legalize psychedelics since 2021, a now new bipartisan group of state senators are going at it once again. But this time they're taking a much more surgical approach. The latest bill is designed to help veterans and first responders in 3 different counties: San Francisco, Santa Cruz, and San Diego. Under this proposed measure, these folks would be able to take psilocybin at a psychedelic-assisted facilitation center, where they'd sit with a licensed facilitator who might be a doctor, a therapist, or a neuropath. The bill's sponsors stress that we're not at this time pushing for widespread legislation. We're looking to support the brave men and women who serve our communities and our country. Hero doses for heroes. For Jones to introduce this bill, leaders, honestly, we're not sure what sparked his great awakening, but here's hoping Jones will realize soon enough that vets and firefighters aren't the only ones with trauma to resolve. Give me 5 people that think this newsletter sounds at least interesting enough to go take a look at. Get yourself some information every week. Balance that against other information that you get from all your other places and angles. Okay? Great. I've gone through a couple of issues already, the last couple, and it's got some great information in it. So let's look at that together. And every once in a while, if I find something interesting on there, I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. Okay? Great job by Vegas Mandy. Good call. Let's get another person lined up to get on the spin to win. Do you guys remember the spin wheel? Where is it? Give me 1 second. Yeah, there it is. Get the old spin wheel. Oh, jeez, Pops. Okay. Get the old spin wheel out. I'll have to clean it up a little bit. We'll have to clean it up a little bit, right? But do you guys remember the old spin wheel? We're going to put your names on this guy right here. And then we're going to spin this on Friday. And we're going to give away some stuff on Friday from this thing here. And we already have Charlie Ray Merritt's on there. Okay? So we're going to do the spin to win wheel this week. Okay? Does that sound fun to you guys? Let's do numbers between 1 and 50. Give me a number between 1 and 50. And the first one on my chute will get up on the board. 1 and 50. Here we go. I'm looking at numbers now. Joe D's. Joe D's says 13. And 13 is absolutely on in the chute. Joe D's. Joe D's will be putting you on the spin to win wheel for Friday. You have to remember, you have to be here to win. So Joe D's. And you're only going to get one spot. So, congratulations to Joey D's. Okay. Alrighty. Let's, fermentation. I did our talk about fungus for today, psychedelics and stuff like that. We'll pick up some more fermentation issues tomorrow. I think we did pretty good with that information today. Let me read a couple of mythobustos. Okay? And then after that, Sandman, have a good day. Is Sandman leaving? Is Sean saying goodbye to Sandman? Let me read a couple of mythobustos. Okay. And then after mythobustos, we'll do our reading for today. I've got a really, really great reading for today. Okay. Myth number 517. This is a myth. Number 517. The myth is LSD will make you insane. I was taught that. We grew up believing that. LSD will make you jump out of the window. You'll think you're going to fly like a bird, but you're going to splat, I promise you. 42 kids in this school have done it already. What are their names? Well, just take our word for it. There were 42. In a study, oh yeah, they did the same thing with cannabis. Remember Reefer Madness? Remember that? All the way through the 30s and 40s and 50s, you'll go mad. You'll go crazy if you smoke it a weedie. Okay? No, you won't. I keep looking out the window. You know, you guys, you know why? Because they're getting ready. They're repaving my street. So this guy right here is going to tear up the apron. He's going to tear up the apron right there in front of the house so they can re-pour it when they repave the whole street. You got to hand it to Ferndale. They don't mess around with their civic improvements. Ferndale, Michigan. Okay? Enormous, I'm not planning to jump, I promise. LSD will make you jump, though. Tax dollars, big tax dollars. Okay? LSD. In a study done in 1960, LSD was given to 2,000 people, half of who were known to be mentally ill or genetically predisposed to mental illness, and the other half, normal people. After the test was done, only 0.13%, 0.13, that's a tenth of 1%, Only a tenth of 1% of the subjects exhibited any sort of psychotic behavior. And all of those were already in the mentally ill category. How about this one? We got to watch out. We all think, oh, natural drugs, they're going to be automatically better than laboratory drugs. Logically, that couldn't be. It logically can't be. We struggle with this here in our industry right now. I'm struggling with it with extract. How much is really a dose? If I give a person a dose and I give another person the same dose, is it really the same? It's coming from two different fruits that could have two different amounts of. How do I regulate it? These are things I struggle with. And then ultimately we put it on the user to just, hey, you just figure out your own dosing. That's a disadvantage. Okay? I have to say that that's not the way we take regular drugs. The way we take regular drugs is in a predetermined amount, and the drug industry knows how much they've put into that predetermined amount. And you can take it again in a week and it's going to be the same predetermined amount. It's one of the reasons that microdosing is such a smart thing to do. If not, even if you don't feel like microdosing, here's a really smart thing to do. If you have a shroom and you have another shroom right next to it, you don't know. We know one's stronger than the other. One will have more psilocybin. They will not, I think, like fingerprints. They're not going to have the exact same amount. They're not. Let's say one has an amount of 10 and the other has an amount of 8. There's psilocybin amounts in it. Okay? So you take the 10 one time, same size, every weight, all looks the same. You take an 8 the next time. Okay. What grinding will do is if you take the 10 and you take the 8 and you grind them up and mix it together, you can assume you take some of that out and it's going to be a 9. And it should be a 9 pretty regularly. Does this make sense? Am I making sense right now? It's one of the reasons I believe in microdosing, because we've ground up all of this stuff and we end up with one constant versus it's Vegas, baby. We're not sure, it's within reason. You're not going to blow yourself up or anything, but it's one of the reasons that I strongly believe in ground up. And the same thing will happen with your chocolate guys. Unless you're working with a really good chocolatier, somebody that really makes good chocolates, some of the chocolate bars are going to be more potent than others. So, natural drugs aren't bad for you. Natural drugs are hard to measure how much you're going to get. Natural drugs, you got to pay more personal attention to what you're doing than you just go over and you take a bottle of pills, pour one in your hand, take it. That you're going to get the same effect pretty much every time. I know in Vegas, it's a lot of people, right? And a lot of lights up there too. So this was a myth that natural drugs are not bad for you. Actually, natural drugs have a higher chance of killing you or really impacting you negatively than artificially made drugs. With artificially made drugs, you know what you're getting. However, with natural drugs, you never know the potency of the drug and how hard it'll affect you. I'm bringing reality to us today, okay? This is what today's been about. Let's be careful. We do a lot of great things, but we also are skirting the edge of a lot of gray areas. And when we're smart, we get informed and we tell the truth to one another. It isn't all balloons and giggles. There's a lot of responsibility in this. There's a lot of responsibility. If we're going to be helping people, we want to help them responsibly. I'm going to help a guy across the street. Usually the best way to do is go across yourself, make sure it's clear, bring out a stop sign, all that. There's another way you can help a person across the street. Push them. There you go. That's not a good way to help. But I was just helping them cross the street. Be careful. For example, opium, which is squirted out of a poppy, is highly addictive. And it can kill you easily if you take too much. Each poppy is going to be a little bit different. How about this one? PCP turns normal people violent. PCP. Research shows that PCP doesn't cause users to be violent unless they were already predisposed to violent behavior. Coca-Cola. It's going to melt your stomach. Stop drinking all that Coke. While Coca-Cola does contain acid, so does a lot of other foods and drinks, such as orange juice, which is even more acidic. The reason none of these foods have already damaged your stomach is because the acids are diluted enough to be safe for consumption. MSG. MSG burns your brain cells. I hadn't heard that one. Take MSG and it's going to burn your brain cells. That sounds like LSD. MSG, LSD. The only way for MSG to affect you in any negative way would be for you to eat a couple of 100 pounds of it every single day. God. Couple 100 pounds of MSG. No wonder, but it tastes so good. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm going to end up with one more. Margarine. People like butter. They like margarine. Blah, blah, blah. I remember when I couldn't stand margarine. It was like, oh, if I don't have butter, I don't want it. Somewhere along the line, my body got used to margarine. Margarine is plastic. Margarine's made up with plastic. No, it's not. Margarine isn't plastic. It's made from vegetable oil. It was originally invented as a cheaper substitute for butter all the way back in the 19th century France. That's all I got for you, Rando. I'm busting myths this morning. Okay? That's all the myths we're going to bust. My sticker is falling. What sticker? What sticker's falling, Mushy? I don't want my sticker to fall. Parquet. It's butter. No, it's parquet. I can't believe it's not butter. Billy D, I couldn't stand margarine, but now I do that fake spread stuff. Whatever that. I'm looking behind me. Oh, that sticker. Okay. Okay, cool. I see. We'll get that fixed. Thanks, Mushy. Okay. Why do we thirst for love? Well, we're, even though most of us here are loners coming to the game, and we don't want to admit it, but humans are actually a group animal. We're a herd animal. There's been a lot of studies, and this is a fascinating subject to me, anthropology slash sociology. The perfect number for a community, the perfect number, quote unquote, is somewhere around 75 for small communities. Back in the day, they used to call them tribes. Then they gangs. Why 75? Because the human brain is pretty comfortable recognizing and seeing and even being able to put a name to about 75 faces at a time. After that, you're just sort of going to be a face in the crowd. We can focus out about, and it's a weird average, but that's what they've come up with, around 75. And in a given community, if you divide up the labor type work that needs to be done to make a prosperous commune slash community, you can usually divide it up to where there's 5 farmers, one gunsmith, one silversmith, one candle maker, all of the different jobs that you would need to make a successful community. You could pretty much break them up and within that group. Some would be multitasking, but 75. That doesn't even sound like a lot. There's 114 people here right now. But it's the human nature. It's in our nature. We don't want it to be so. I want to be able to, no, I like being alone in the woods for only so long. You've seen that TV show Survive or Survival or something? Half the time they quit because they're lonely. They're not even worn out yet. They're not hungry. They just can't take the isolation. They're missing their family. They got pictures up and tokens of the kids. Alone, that's the name of the show, Queenie. Human nature. They're not supposed to be out there alone like that. It's weird. And then, we do have loners and hermits and stuff in our society, but they're the one-offs. They're not the normal people. For thousands of years, we humans had to live, eat, sleep, and travel and hunt in groups in order to increase our chances for survival. Being in a group was necessary to stay alive. So gaining acceptance from this group was literally a matter of life and death. We've been doing this for so long, it's baked into our wiring. So even though it may no longer be a matter of survival, we still work ridiculously hard to be in and not be rejected. Feeling left out and rejected brings up those ancient anxieties of danger. Think about that. That's actually touching something back in our instinctual cortex of not being accepted. I might just get eaten by a dinosaur. I gotta hang around with the other cavemen. And I want them to want me to hang around. Being left out, or does this sound good? Do you guys want me to read a little more about this? Rejection, acceptance, and where do we get it? Being left out doesn't feel good. Do you remember being picked last year, the last guy standing on the curb? Never happened to me, man. I was always picked like first or second. I think I was picked last a few times. Were you ever picked last? That's like an instinctual rejection. Yeah, you're only on the team because you were number 8 and there's 8 people. I was picked last a couple of, not often, because I was pretty athletic, but you don't know, different situations every once in a while. How do you pick me last? I'm a Marine, man. I was a rugby player. How can you pick me last? I was never always picked last, but once in a while we are. Doesn't feel very good. Doesn't feel good. Being left out or rejected signals feelings like we're not going to survive. This is why FOMO, which means fear of missing out. FOMO. This is why FOMO feels so trashy, and why you're not lying when you tell someone you love, I can't live without you. Because sometimes it really feels like that. Yeah, I agree. We are motivated to be connected, and too heavily motivated to keep our relationships intact, even when those relationships aren't healthy. I gotta hold on to someone because if they reject me, then everyone's gonna reject me. Fear. It's instinctual. Isn't that amazing? The kicker is, we most often do this without even realizing it. It's literally what makes us human. That's the human part of us. If you want to wallow in your humanity, stay there. If you want to become a greater creature, recognize this, be aware of it, and let's talk about ways out. Chasing validation subconsciously kept us alive for thousands of years. Kept all these humanoids alive. But now, as the small villages have been replaced with big cities and communities with internet strangers, trying to keep everyone happy is going to be the death of us. Don't cancel me. I know it's painful when people don't like us, but we have to recognize now there's too many people to win over. It's not just the 75 in the village that we were comfortable in anymore. Our goal isn't even to do that anymore. We're beyond that survival necessity. Gone are the days of living in small villages and communities. And hello to cities of millions and an online world that feels unlimited. We can now count likes and read opinions. We read these about ourselves from people we've never met. And the deeper we dive into these worlds, the more the dread of rejection can pay us a visit. Like something somebody says on here is going to ruin my life. You're going to sit around anxious and depressed. I can't believe they said that about me. You know, my sister said to me 4 years ago when I started tea, she said, there's going to be 100 people. 99 are going to like you. And you're going to like it. You're going to like that they like you. And then there's going to be one. He's not going to like you. Are you going to give up the 99 people that you're working with and like each other and are growing because of one? No. And then you still let the one get to you, don't you? We can't make everybody happy. There are way too many people. It's okay that we want to, because that's how we're wired. But if the realization of genuine love is important, we're going to have to do a lot of work to break that cycle. The first step in the work is understanding that we care too much in the first place. We're wired that way. We care too much in the first place. I promise you the only reason I asked for likes here. I've evaluated. 2 years ago, I was measuring by my likes. I'm advancing to the point that isn't why. I found out that there's likes are a way to get more people to join us. There's 109 here this morning. A few short years ago, it was 7. So that's one of the reasons. It's not our ego, and it's not because I need it. That's my self-awareness. The more we can establish self-love and see ourselves as a source of love. I see myself as a source of love. Not perfectly, not all the time. Not even close to where I want to be if I keep working at it. I want to get big. I want to get strong. I want to get kind. We're still at the 99-pound weakling guy, but we'll be Charles Atlas someday because we do it every day. And the more we do it, the less we care about what other people think, because it's coming from inside now. It's an inside job. Self-love. Self-love, even admitting, oh boy, you really blew that one. I can't even admit to myself I blew something if I don't love myself and want to see myself get better. If I never admit it to myself, then I'm going to keep myself stunted and never grow. Self-love's being able to, not with judgment, but with awareness and purpose not to do that particular thing again. The more we can establish self-love and see ourselves as a source of love. Are you a source of love? If you're a source of love for 99 people, should you turn yourself off for the one that doesn't even think you're a source of love? They actually look at you, what a weirdo, you're ugly, you look like Santa, and all the other things that they can say. You're old, who? What? You know how many people are here for kindness and love? That's who we're talking to. We're a source of love. The whole tea crew's a source of love. Our Mush Fest was like a love fest. So let's cut ourselves some slack for caring about what people think and wanting their approval. But no, we can work beyond these feelings. There's a whole new life and a whole lot more love that can be realized. If we recognize, yeah, it's normal to want to be loved and cared for and not rejected. And if I put too much power in it, it's damaging. If I experience more self-love, that program dies. Love for self includes saying no to others and being okay with parts of you that others may not approve of. Oh, you don't like that about me? Okay. I'm not changing it. I'm okay with it. You're not okay with it, I understand. No problem. I have self-love. I recognize that you're not going to be okay with every part of me. Every one of you is like, Pops is great at this, and then there's this one little thing that you're probably right. There is a couple of things in there that I got to work on. And we will. The more we can establish self-love and see ourselves as a source of love, the less we'll be running around chasing some wonderful feeling. We don't run around chasing wonderful feelings. What we do is we give them. And as a natural occurrence in nature, it cycles back. And we end up feeling them probably greater than anybody. Rejection, I'm finished here. Rejection is no longer a death sentence. Oh God, I'm gonna die. They don't want me in their group. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I didn't make the club. Oh my jeez. I don't know what I'm gonna do. It hurts so bad. Rejection is not a death sentence. And there will always be someone who just doesn't like you. Always gonna be. That isn't who we care about. Who we care about, if we're really doing it right, is ourselves. Being that source. So 99 other people can grow in love and live and laugh. Thank you for letting me, thanks for letting me spout today. Truly believe this stuff that we're spreading. And let's keep doing it right. Let's be honest with the products we're putting in each other's hands. Let's tell each other the goods and the bads of it. It's not all peaches and cream. There's a lot of responsibility that we have. A lot of responsibility we have to our micro community. A lot of responsibility that we have to each other. But our biggest and single greatest responsibility is to love ourselves to the degree that you can be loved. You are loved by yourself and a multitude of others. So let's get one more person for the spin to win for today, and then we'll scroll everybody out, and we'll be back tomorrow talking the same business. Every single day we work out like this. Every single day we go to the kindness gym. We're gonna get big. We're gonna get big, kids. Keep coming to the kindness gym. We're gonna get big. Give me a number between 1 and 50. It's in my chute right now. Give me a number between 1 and 50. Give me a number between 1 and 50. The one that's in my chute will get you on the spin to win board for Friday. That's good, Copper. You are. That's absolutely true. Name it and claim it. Name it and claim it. I still haven't seen the number on my board. I'm waiting for the number to pop up over here so we can put you on the spin to win board for Friday. What do you think the number is? I haven't seen it yet. Scroll across my screen. I have not seen it yet. Waiting for it. We're waiting for it. I haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for that number. I haven't seen it yet. Clearly, I haven't seen it yet, or I'd have told you, right? Vegas is like, of course you haven't seen it yet, Pops. Veg, great on newsletter. Good job. That's going to be some resource we'll turn to here every few weeks. I still haven't seen the number. I'm still waiting to see the number. Juan Padilla got awfully close, I can tell you that. Go back and look at Juan Padilla's numbers. He was awfully close. That's my final clue. Okay? Antonio Camacho! Antonio Camacho! 24. Oops. 24. And sure enough, Antonio, it's a 24. Glad to be putting Antonio Camacho on the spin to win wheel. Antonio. I wish I had people around here I could speak Spanish with more. I love speaking Española. Okay? You guys go have a wonderful day. We'll see you here tomorrow. Same much time, same much channel. Thanks again to everybody. I love you. And I mean that sincerely. And I feel the love back. I truly do. You guys are an amazing group of humans. And I think we're doing a lot of really good things together. So give me a couple of amens on your way out. I don't mean amen. Give me a couple of you're right, Pops, on your way out. Anthony Thornton, Anthony the big man Thornton. Shine, I didn't see your number first. The lag is real. Copper, Mushmouth. Juan Padilla, The Waz, Billy Flynn, Antonio Camacho, Mark Zammer and Terry, hi Terry, Sharon Sparks, hi Sharon, Joe Dees and Funny Zenverse and Juan Padilla and Baby Girl and Copper and Matt and Antonio. And I'm like 60-70%. Shine and Lena and Terry and Charlie Ray and Billy Flynn and A.A. Ron. And Funny and Juan and JQ and Nippy, I love you. Daniel, hello Daniel. Herbie Herbie doing a great job for us. Billy D. Ego. Hello, Ego. Sharon Sparky the Sparkerton. D. Anderson. Peace, love, kid. Neo Simplex. Satter Cat. Meow. Zilla. Mushmouth. Thank you, my good buddy. Michael Allen. Lena. Juan. Antonio. Cleany. Jonathan K. All day. Anthony Thornton. He's the big guy. Metalli Terry. Thank you. And Rosetta, thank you. And Jesus Christ in Australia. That's a creepy thing to say. Vegas and Shiny and Tree Stump and Michael Patterson were in it together. I love Michael Patterson. Free, Enormous, and Juan and Tiffany and Niff. And Woody K all day. Lena married Michael. Hello. Edwin Rodriguez. Deborah Pearl. She's a Pearl. Laura. Have a divine day. Waz. I love me some Waz. Michael. Calico Kid. Hi, Calico. Hello. Melissa G. Keep it coming. Jimmy Max. Sarah. Marky Z. Pidgey Page. Jolie. I'm going to send you something. Terry, Sean P, Enormous, Lena, Satter, JC, Justin is okay. Penny Pack, Hags. Isn't this great, Penny? We're growing. I mean, there's a lot of people here today. Edwin, and wasn't too trolly either. Joe D's, Enormous, Herbie, Penny Pack, 5280 for the rest of the day, all day. Let's just say all week. Juan Padilla, Melissa G. Edward E. Crystal, Anthony Albioli. That's a good one. Mushy, Marky, JC, Joe D's, Shine, Wazzy, Juan Padilla, Woody K. Bud, Enormous, Carl Allen, love you too, Mark, Edwin, and married Michael, Melissa G. Herbie, Cosmo. There's a Cosmo in the cosmos. Pilar, Carl Juan, Carl, Tree Stump, Deja Vu, Terry D. Anderson, the real Tony Tone, King Metro, Football Lover. No, I haven't. Bryce, Real Milkman, Hey Milky, Mark Zamaron, Pops, peace. I'll see you guys here tomorrow. Practice kindness. Lift it. Get big. Look how big we're gonna get. We're getting huge.